Today I want to talk to you about 3 statements that enabled me to win a state championship back when I was in high school. As you can see on the board behind me, we have see it, feel it, trust it. When I was in high school, when I was probably about a junior, I was really struggling with the breakthrough, that breakthrough thing that was going to take me to the next level. I was kind of in this period of time when I was transitioning from a different horse. That was one indicator that really helped me. The second one was spending tons of time on my barrel stand. But the third one, the final thing that really captivated the ability for me to perform at a higher level was this see it, feel it, trust it. I got this statement from this book called 7 Days in Utopia. I highly recommend that you go read it if you're struggling with wanting to have a true breakthrough. Really understanding your identity as a competitor, but also knowing how to break through the slumps. This book was started off of a golfer who had the worst score that he's ever had in his entire life as a professional golfer. He left in the middle of the tournament, went to a place somewhere in the middle of Texas called Utopia, Texas, and ran into a guy who ended up teaching him the principles that he needed to become successful in his mind. And that was something that was super crazy to me because everything that was in this book related to what I was going through. I was having these terrible performances. I wasn't handling the pressure. I was getting frustrated. I was getting emotional. I was getting all these things and I wasn't mentally prepared. And so this word, these phrases right here was in this book. There's a lot of things, but this is what stuck out to me. To see it, feel it, and trust it. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about what that is. Seeing it. You would imagine that's visualizing it. You know, if you haven't started visualizing your runs yet, preparing your mind on the run that you want, you got to start doing it now. And so one of the things that I did whenever I was in high school that really started helping me was I would visualize the runs that I wanted while I was practicing. So not only was I thinking about roping all day, but then whenever I got into my barrel stand or I got on the dummy or I got behind the sled, I was fixing my mind on what it would look like to have the perfect run and how to practice that. And so the first thing that I want you to do whenever you're starting to figure out how to visualize, start visualizing while you're performing the act. So that's going to help your motor skills to be able to actually put into action the thing that you're seeing. So not only sometimes is it good to lay at night and think about the runs, but it's really good to be about thinking about the runs while you're doing the act. For some reason, they both align and they help you to start performing the act simultaneously or automatically without you actually having to think about it. And that's where we want to get. We want to get to where we have an automatic, successful mind that's allowing ourselves to actually do the act without us really thinking about it. So seeing it. Whenever I started seeing it, I was able to picture what I wanted to perform. And while I was practicing, I was able to start putting it in action. Now that really leads into the next thing, feeling it. You know, we can visually see what we want to do, but if we don't know what it feels like, it's hard to sometimes replicate it. So after you visualized it, you got to do what I was talking about, is actually feeling it by practicing it out. So whenever you're feeling it, I need you to sit there. And this drill you're going to do without actually doing it in action. You're going to sit there. You're going to visualize the run. You're going to see it happening. And I want you to imagine what it feels like to get out and hit the barrier. The cast right there. You throw it. And you know the feel of the rope as it leaves your hand. You know what it feels like as your horse is starting to stop. You can feel the horse starting to slide. And that you can feel the slack in your hand as you're ripping it. I want you to feel every single part of your run. You need to become so good and not only seeing every part, but feeling every part. And then the most important part of this whole thing is trusting it. You have to trust it. So after you've seen it, after you've felt it, can you trust yourself to actually carry out those things? That is the secret sauce, even though it's super simple. And a lot of people say you got to do this, this, and this. This is really what it comes down to. You got to see it, you got to feel it, and you have to trust it. Trust yourself. The big thing about trusting yourself is keeping promises to yourself. The way that you do that is you basically put yourself in a pressure situation. You say, I'm going to do these things, and then you work at doing those things. A lot of times people will say they're going to do something, but then don't actually follow through with it because they stay in a trying mindset. I'm going to try to do it, but they don't actually follow through with doing it. Stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself little lies. Be someone that does what they say they're going to do, and trust yourself. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to find out that there's a failure or a fault in your process, and you're going to fix it so that you can get it right. So see it, feel it, and trust it this week while you're practicing, and take it with you when you go to the rodeo. Believe me, this was what helped me to start winning high school rodeos, enabled me to go to college and do very, very well, and I still use it today. See it, feel it, trust it.